So today I'm going to introduce bio-inspired polymer actuators. Bio-inspired polymer actuators can convert electrical, thermal, or chemical energy into mechanical motion. They're composed of materials that can undergo significant changes in shape, size, or stiffness in response to a stimulus, such as temperature, humidity, light, or electric fields. If you think about it, it is actually kind of similar to how a lot of the things in nature behave. For example, we have the touch-induced folding and unfolding of mimosa leaves, or the snap trap behavior of the Venus flytrap after the mechanical triggering of its hairs. Or in humans, on the right here, muscles are composed of a network of protein fibers that can slide past one another to generate force and motion to respond to external loads. The stimuli-sensitive locomotion movements in living organisms show more remarkable performance and higher energy efficiency than traditional motor-driven machines. So scientists are inspired by them to make biomimic synthetic actuators that have a wide range of applications. A well-known example of a bio-inspired actuator is the artificial muscle made from a low-modulized polyurethane. The hierarchical morphologies of the artificial muscle are very similar to natural muscle, as shown by this picture on the left. So the artificial muscle has similar structures such as myofibril, myofiber, bundled fascicles, and muscle belly, as well as the outer membrane. The biomimic scaffold exhibited mechanical properties also comparable to native muscle tissue, including elasticity and tensile strength. Because the material is biocompatible, and similar scaffolds have shown good cellular proliferation, infiltration, elongation, a potential application is tissue engineering for use in regenerative medicine, particularly for repairing or replacing damaged muscle tissues. Then how are those muscles made? Well, it is created by a method called electrospinning, shown on the right here. So you start with dissolved polymers in the solvent, and you load the liquid into a nozzle here, which is connected to a high voltage power source. The electricity pulls a tiny stream of the polymer out of the nozzle. As it travels through the air, the solvent evaporates and the polymer turns into a solid fiber. The fibers then land on a collector and form a mat of nanofibers. The mats were then cut in stripes, wrapped up, and finally pulled out to form a ring-shaped bundle of axially aligned nanofibers. The two aligned bundles can be twisted in the middle and bended and fixed into a new electrospinning setup, shown here. In this setup, there's actually rotation. So after the second round of electrospinning, we have the final artificial muscle. Another example is shape-morphing polymers, where they show shape programming abilities under a solvent-free atmosphere, just like how the mimosa behaves. People have even developed multi-shape memory polymers, which can remember many shapes in addition to their original permanent shape. In this example on the left, heat is the triggering stimulus. There are two segments or domains in the polymer, in which one is the elastic component, so it is always elastic, but the other is the transition component, meaning that it is able to significantly alter its stiffness depending on whether there is heat. And Pu is a good example of the transition component. In another example, researchers use sodium alginate hydrogel sheets to make ion-triggered artificial flowers that can open or close. The flower shape is made by introducing microchannels into those sheets. Then they were immersed in calcium chloride, where calcium ions can cross-link the alginate chains. When exposed to sodium chloride, sodium ions can replace those calcium ions, altering the cross-linking and causing shape changes. These shape-morphing polymers have lots of applications too. For instance, they are used for biomedical devices such as stents and sutures, where they can be inserted in a small compressed form and expand to a larger functional shape when they're warmed to body temperature inside human bodies, so that the procedure can be minimally invasive. They can also be used in aerospace applications, where satellites and spacecrafts have very limited space and weight, so structures need to be very compact during launch, and they can expand once they're in orbit. Also, there are locomotion actuators that can walk, jump, or swim. In the walking example here, a mixture is created by combining PDMS, hexane, and iron microparticles, and it is deposited onto a polystyrene plate. A magnetic bar is positioned beneath the plate so that the iron particles can be aligned, which induce the formation of tapered foot structures shown here. The foot structures can walk according to the direction of the external magnetic field. We can see here from image I, J, and K that the actuator is not only super fast, but it can also deliver heavy cargoes and cross obstacles. So these walking polymers can be used for targeted cargo delivery, or they can be used as sensors. And here we have a jumping example. The actuating film is made from a carbon nitride polymer with one-pot vapor deposition polymerization. On irradiation with UV light that occurred intermittently, the film exhibited a bending and straightening motion upon thermal expansion, which combined to become the jumping motion. This is because the film is not symmetric along the thickness direction, and mechanical strains generated on the sides are different, creating the bending behavior. From the high-speed camera image on the bottom, we can see that it jumped vertically up to 10,000 times greater than the film thickness. This means that the jumping polymers can potentially be used in planetary exploration or in search and rescue. Finally, we have swimming polymers. An artificial ray was developed from tissue engineering, where rat cardiomyocytes were patterned on an elastic PDMS body enclosing a goat skeleton, and with light irradiation induced the sequential muscle activation and swimming behavior because the cardiomyocytes express light-sensitive proteins, and the speed and direction of the ray could be adjusted by changing the light frequency, shown here. The machine can also respond to Feng stimulations, shown on the bottom, to change its swimming direction, as well as navigate through a course full of obstacles. Therefore, similar to an actual ray, sensory information was coupled to motor coordination and movement, which led to behavior. This machine can lead to important applications in stealth sailing, or it can be used to access dangerous areas to collect data. With that summarizes my introduction to bio-inspired polymer actuators. Thank you very much.